In this video, we are going to take a look at integers and the absolute value. So integers, you do know, okay, they are just your negative numbers, positive numbers, and zero. So if you take a look at a number line, we have zero in the middle, and then we have to the right of zero to represent everything positive, and to the left of zero to represent everything negative, okay? So now we're going to take a look at some key words that we will see in word problems to help us figure out if we're going to have a negative number or a positive number. So for the negative integers, we take a look at our first example, a loss of 5. Our keyword here is loss, okay? And since it's a loss of 5, we're going to represent that as a negative 5. 13 degrees below 0. Our keyword here is below. And we know that it's under 0 because it said below. So again, negative 13. A decline of $100. Our keyword here is decline. That's bad. So we're going to say minus 100. And we don't need to put the dollar sign. You can leave that off because later on, when you have to write your own equations from words like this, you won't really include the dollar sign. You can have it in your final answer, but there's no need to write it now. And a withdrawal of $50. So if you have a bank account or you go with your parents or someone to the bank and they withdraw money from their account, they're taking away from their account. So minus 50. On the positive integer side, there are some keywords to help you know that it's going to be plus something. So a gain of 10, gain. So if you watch football and they're talking about gain of so many yards, you know, you're going forward, so it's plus. 25 degrees above 0, so keyword here is above, and that'll be plus 25. A profit of 250, profit, that means you got some money, so that'll be plus 250. And deposit $15. So just like how you go to the bank to withdraw, you go to the bank to put money in, and that makes your account more than it was before. So deposit becomes plus 15. Now, these are just a few words to recognize when dealing with negative and positive integers. There are more, so if you can think of more to put in the list, please add some. Now we're going to take a look at absolute value. And absolute value is the distance from each integer to 0. So in red here, how far is the number from 0? Okay, so always ask yourself that. And these symbols here are the absolute value signs, okay? They're just two straight lines with, you know, your number inside. And it's really important that you make them bigger than your number, like I did here, and try to bold them because you don't want to accidentally think they're the number 1 when you're writing. So when we have absolute value symbols, please make sure to extend beyond the height of your numbers and to bold them. And you say the symbol, well, what you see here with the numbers and the symbol right here in blue, the absolute value of -5 is, and then you provide your answer. So that means how far away is -5 from the number 0? And if you were to draw out a number line and look, you would see that the distance is 5 hops away. So now when you ask yourself, okay, what's the absolute value of just 5. So how far away is this positive 5 away from 0? Again, looking at the number line, you will see that it is also 5 steps away. Okay? So when you're looking at the absolute value of a number and the absolute value of that number's twin, it will be the same exact number. Okay, next we're going to evaluate some of these expressions. So for our first example here, we have, again, we're using this sentence frame. This is how we say it. The absolute value of -3, and it's going to be very similar to our example above. So we just write 3. Okay, and -3 is 3 hops away from 0. The absolute value of +3, again, 3. And now we're starting to see some adding and subtracting integers inside of our absolute value symbols. So it could be more than just one term. You might have another number inside with an operation. So we're still going to treat it the same way, except for we're going to follow our rules of order of operations, and we're going to evaluate what's inside the absolute value symbols first before writing anything else. We need to evaluate first. So what do I mean by that? Well, we have inside -3 plus 5. So what we're going to do is rewrite the absolute value symbols, okay? And I wrote them a little closer because whatever this number is after evaluating will go inside. So what's -3 plus 5? Well, that gives us 2. And then we can go ahead and now take the absolute value of 2, which is 2. Okay? Same thing on the next one. Rewrite the symbols. And now what is 3 minus 5? So we have 3. And I need to take away 5. I don't have enough, which means I'm going to cross over to the negative side. Okay? And that will give me -2. But then the absolute value of -2, 2. Here I have -3 and I'm going to take away 5. So rewrite the symbols. And now I have -3. So I'm starting in the negatives. Then I'm taking away 5. So that means I'm going more negative. Okay? So -3 minus 5 gives us -8. And what's the absolute value of -8? Just 8. And then here we have the absolute value of 3 plus 5. That's nice and simple. Rewrite the symbols. 3 plus 5 is 8. And the absolute value of 8 is 8. Okay, so now we have more expressions to evaluate, but again, gotta pay attention to what you have. You might have to clean things up and rewrite before providing a final evaluated answer. So here we have 3 minus -5 inside of the absolute value symbol. So the absolute value of 3 minus -5 is, I don't know, because we need to clean this up. What happens when you have this minus sign and negative sign next to each other? So that means we need to rewrite the entire expression on the inside before doing anything else. We're going to clean it up. This changes to a plus, then 5. Okay, rewrite again. I am showing all of my steps. So now we can take care of 3 plus 5 to get 8. So the absolute value of 8 is 8. So here we need to clean things up, okay? This is the clean up, and this is the rewrite. Okay, clean up and rewrite. Don't try to do this in your head. Now on the bottom one, we have the absolute value of -3 minus -5. So again, we have this 2 negative signs next to each other. So we're going to clean that up, rewrite your symbols. -3, that's what we start with. This is now plus. And 5, close it. We're going to take care of this. Look, it's real similar to this one here. So that means we get 2. Okay. And then so the absolute value of 2 is 2. Okay, now there might be some instances where you have numbers outside of the absolute value symbol, and that's perfectly fine. Do not freak out. Take care of the absolute values first, then you can proceed with the rest of the math. So here we have the absolute value of 3, then plus 5. So we're going to take care of the absolute value of 3, which is 3, and then you just rewrite the plus 5. 3 plus 5, 8. Absolute value of -3 is 3. Rewrite the plus 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Rewrite the -5. Okay. 3 take away 5 is -2. 5 is much bigger than 3. Again, you have 3. You don't have enough to take away 5. So you need to borrow 2 more. You borrow 2 more, that's -2. Absolute value of -3 is 3. And then rewrite the -5. So again, we get -2.